Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one of the series Breaking Down Barriers. This is inspired by my book, which is entitled Breaking Down Barriers, My Journey from a Small African Village to the World Stage. My name is Chris Igwe, and what I do is I go through a few of these ideas and thoughts and philosophies that I've put together to enable you to get a better sense of how perhaps it can work into your own life. This is not about my life story, although it is in parts, but it's also how they can connect and interact with you in terms of your own life and my philosophies. I take a chapter, I look at it. I don't exactly go through everything that's in the book itself. If you want to get a book, then that's great. If not, I will just share some insights and thoughts that hopefully in the few minutes that we're together, you can understand and explore for yourself, because that's the objective, that's the plan. So the topic we want to talk about today is entitled Accept the Things You Do Not Understand. Accept the things you do not understand. And what do I mean by that? Well, life, as you know, is complex. There are many things that happen that we have no idea about. We're not familiar with. They don't make any sense. Whether it is at one extreme, I know people who are absolutely convinced that there are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. People I've grown up with who still follow that with great intensity and explain to me, and I must admit I'm fascinated. I used to be fascinated with extraterrestrial stuff, so science, what's going out beyond the earth, what's happening, what is it that we don't know about. There are just some things that we won't or don't understand. Obviously, another one could be religion, a belief in a higher power, a belief in God, or whatever you believe in. For some people, it's very different. For some people, there is no higher power, there is no God, and that's okay. But the point is, there are things that will happen to you, have happened to you, that you don't understand. Let me give you a couple of really quick examples. For example, let's say you are going for a job interview, as many of us have over our careers, our lives. Maybe you're still in that situation. And you go and you're really ready and you're set, and they've seen your CV and they've invited you in, whether you use a digital platform or the old school method that I used to use, where you send in your letter, the reason why you believe you're right for this position, and your CV. Now today there's a lot more online, so you can actually apply, but it's still the same process. You still have to fit a certain criteria initially, and then for you to be accepted for an interview. Now imagine you go for that interview, and as far as you're concerned, your experience, your background, your CV dictates that this is your job, this is for you, this is made for you. And you go through the process, you come out of it, you feel really good. You feel, you know what, I nailed this, I did it, it's mine. And then you don't get the job. And you're wondering why. You're trying to figure out, what did I not say right? What did I not do right? Was I not dressed the way I should be? What are the aspects? They're just things that you will not understand. They are part of what I call life's mysteries. Another example could be, and we've all been through that as well in some stage, exams. How many times have you been to an exam and you've studied hard for it? You went, you did the exam, and you passed it, or you didn't. Let's say you didn't. You came out of it and you thought, I aced it. I was absolutely in the zone. I was perfect. I knew what I was answering, and yet it didn't work out and you didn't succeed. And I have had exactly that experience. I wanted to be and became a civil engineer. I wanted to be an engineer. I didn't know if I wanted to be civil, chemical, or mechanical. But I wanted to be an engineer. And to be an engineer, you need to have your exams, what we call the O-level exams in the UK, which is where I did them. So the ordinary level, which you take at about 15 or 16. I didn't get the exams. I'd worked really hard at my maths, and I failed maths, which I needed. I didn't understand why. My teacher didn't understand why. And the other example, which also was very powerful and very painful, was I was frequently selected for and won medals in the English schools championships as we called them, and then went on to English universities and won medals. I was one of the top high jumpers in the UK. I was actually a 2-meter high jumper. And I was ranked 4th at one stage in the UK in the brief time that I was at that level in my university and school days. But I was a 2-meter high jumper, so very, very successful. And I went to a training. No, it actually was a competition, the English schools competition. And if you know the process, you basically you jump at lower heights. Everybody starts at a lower height, which is pretty much doable by everybody. You jump 3 times. If you pass, or when you pass, you go on to and the bar keeps going up. So I struggled at the lower levels in this high jump competition that I should have walked away with no challenges or no difficulty. It was a bit of a challenge that day. And in the end, as I got to a certain level, which wasn't, because basically once you finish that level, then those that remain, whether it's 10 or 12 or whatever, you go on to the final stage to see who's going to win the high jump competition. So I was basically in the kind of the pool, if you like, so the pool of all those who jump, and if you make it to one grade, then you're selected into the next one. And I got to a height which night or day, blindfolded or otherwise, I would have got over with no difficulty. And yet, for some reason, on my 3rd attempt, I cleared the bar, and the bar fell. There was no wind. It was a beautiful day. And as the judges, or one of the judges, came to pick the bar up and they put it back up, he walked past me. I was obviously distraught, disappointed. And he walked past and he said, "You cleared the bar. I don't know how it fell. Only God knows." And for me, that is what I held on to, the only God knows, being a Christian, believing in God. I don't know why the bar fell. I don't know why it happened. And to this day, to be honest, I haven't searched beyond that. I just embraced and accepted it. So these are personal stories which you will have had for yourself as well at some stage, where you think to yourself, this is mine, this is for me, I've nailed it, I've got this clear. And yet something doesn't happen. So what I want to do is to just open your eyes to the fact that there will be things that you will not understand, you cannot understand, you were never meant to understand. And rather than going through it over and over and over again, my suggestion, let go. You need your freedom to move on to the next stage in your life. Don't allow that thing to hold you back, to prevent you from being the very best that you possibly can be. I'm not saying that on occasions you shouldn't search to understand why, but choose what you go after. Choose what you want to understand. Accept the rest and just say, that was an experience. It was painful. It was bitter. I don't know why it happened, but I'm going to move on. Because the moment you remain entrenched in a position where your mind is basically in this cage trying to figure out something that maybe you can't figure out, maybe you'll figure it out later. Maybe that light bulb moment will come on when you discover what it is that you need to be, or you need to have learnt from that situation. So that's what I recommend in the book. And here's what James Pierce, who's an American actor, he says, "The key to learning is an awareness of where you lack understanding." The key to learning is an awareness of where you lack understanding. Because you see, you may search for something, you may later understand it, but at the same time, if you can accept the things that you cannot change or the things that you do not understand, you will then be free to move on to your next journey in life. And because in these chapters I have what I call action items or critical thinking questions, here's a question I want to leave you with, which is a critical thinking question where you have to go deep into yourself to kind of figure it out. Because the answers are in you. Nobody else is going to give you the answers. You'll find them for yourself. So what have you learned from things that have happened to you that you did not understand? What have you learned from things that happened to you that you did not understand? And that requires some thought, because you may say to me, I haven't learned anything. I didn't understand it then, I don't understand it now. That's the point of a critical thinking question, is that you get to the stage where you, for yourself, start to figure it out. Maybe there is an answer there. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. But like I said, it's not for me to answer the question. For me, it's about you basically saying there are things that I will not or cannot understand. They will remain an enigma. They will remain a blur. They will remain confused. That may be okay at that moment in time, but maybe you search to understand what it is. But what I wanted to do through this chapter is just to remind us. It's not to say don't search. Don't get me wrong. There are things that I have searched through in my own critical thinking questions to understand why. What happened? What did I miss? Why did it happen this way as opposed to that way? That's all good. That's all good stuff. But what I'm saying is, the purpose of this chapter is to say there are things that you will not understand. And those things that you do not understand, you have to let go of. You have to free your mind. You have to free your soul. You have to free your spirit. Just let it be. And that, for a lot of people I know, is one of the hardest things. Because the mind doesn't like not knowing. The mind doesn't like not finding a solution to a problem. So accept the things that you don't understand, because that's just the way it's going to be. I hope this has resonated with you, left you with some questions and thoughts for yourself. But either way, I look forward to speaking to you in the next video. For now, thank you.